360. How did this man allegedly get within a few hundred yards of the former president, armed, authorities say, with a rifle and scope? And how does that square with the Secret Service's claim they're providing the highest level of protection? Also tonight, despite calls from both parties to tamp down the rhetoric, Donald Trump is amping it up. Instead, and Trump running mate J.D. Vance defending falsehoods he spread about Haitian immigrants that today brought more threats and school closings to Springfield, Ohio. Those are parents waiting for their kids. Springfield's Republican mayor joins us tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin with what we know and don't know right now about the apparent second attempt on Donald Trump's life. The man arrested yesterday, Ryan Ruth, was arraigned today on federal gun charges. Authorities today said that Ruth did not have the former president in his line of sight when he was discovered by a Secret Service agent in the tree line of the Trump golf course near Mar-a-Lago. The agent, as you know, fired at him. Ruth, they say, fled and was caught a short time later. This is some of the body camera footage.
2 steps to your right. Take 2 steps to your right. Driver, walk straight back. Keep walking.
What's your name, Austin? Ryan?
There are certainly still a lot of questions about the suspect and the former president's security, namely how, for the second time in as many months, did a gunman get within range of the Republican presidential candidate, especially given President Biden's call in the wake of the Butler shooting for Trump and Vice President Harris to receive what acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe today called the highest level of protection. Except, as he admitted when asked, this protection did not include sweeping the golf course perimeter at all during the 12 hours this man was allegedly there or nearby, only agents walking a hole or so ahead of the former president as he played.
So this was an off-the-record movement. It wasn't a site that was on his scheduled, it wasn't part of his schedule. So there was no posting up of it because he wasn't supposed to have gone there in the first place. What I go back to is yesterday was an off-the-record movement. Off the record. And the president wasn't even really supposed to go there. It was not on his official schedule. And so we put together a security plan, and that security plan worked.
Lots to cover tonight with our team of correspondents, law enforcement, and security experts. And because this is taking place in a heated political climate, not a vacuum, we'll also look closer at that. First, though, new tonight, details on President Biden's call to the former president. CNN's Kayla Tausche at the White House has that. So what are you learning?
Well, Anderson, President Biden reached former President Trump by phone from the White House earlier this evening after trying to reach him earlier in the day unsuccessfully. A White House official described the conversation as cordial, with Trump at one point thanking Biden for the call. Now, Biden has no love lost with Trump. They've sparred over politics and policy for ages. But at an event today, President Biden reiterated that there is no place in this country for political violence. Here's what he said.
There is no, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, those of you who know me, many of you do, no place in political violence for political violence in America. None. Zero. Never. In America, we resolve our differences peacefully at the ballot box, not at the end of a gun.
The phone call that transpired between the two men today is the second in 2 months. Of course, they last spoke in July after the first assassination attempt on former President Trump.
Has President Biden suggested something about the security that should be done?
Well, he suggested that the U.S. Secret Service needs more and better resources, specifically personnel. We know that the Secret Service for years has been plagued by thin staffing, long hours, and low morale, which is only exacerbated in election years when more candidates and their families need protective details. We do know that funding for Secret Service has gone up in recent years, and it's higher in 2024 than it even was in 2016 and 2020 during those elections. But Anderson, this is now a new conversation that is taking place as government funding is set to take center stage in the coming weeks, and we'll see if this becomes part of those negotiations between the White House and Capitol Hill.
All right, Kayla Tausche, thank you. Before bringing in our security experts, including former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow, here's Randy Kay with what we've learned so far about the suspect, both moment by moment and going back years.
1:59 a.m. Sunday morning, Ryan Wesley Ruth may have already been lying in wait for Donald Trump. Court documents unsealed today included an FBI affidavit indicating Ruth's cell phone may have been in the vicinity of the bushes for up to 12 hours before he was ultimately spotted by Secret Service. Secret Service caught a glimpse of the barrel of the suspect's gun and opened fire. In terms of him being in the vicinity, based on his phone records, is there any evidence to show that Ralph was in the vicinity in the area before Sunday? And when you say in the vicinity, does that mean right there at that spot in those bushes, or could it have been, down the street at a restaurant?
It was in very close proximity to where he was spotted by the Secret Service. In terms of your first question, whether he was there earlier, our investigation is still looking to determine that.
At 1:30 p.m., Secret Service agents call in shots fired to West Palm Beach police, who immediately seal off the area. Trump International Golf Club is now on lockdown.
The alleged gunman was on the public side of the fence near the sixth green. The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene.
About 25 minutes later, at 1:55 p.m., the Martin County Sheriff's Office receives a BOLO, a be on the lookout alert. A suspect is heading north on Interstate 95. A description of the vehicle and a tag number is also provided. Every available unit, about 30 in all, joins the hunt.
We immediately deployed out to the interstate because the information was that the suspect was possibly headed north on I-95.
Minutes later, just after 2 p.m., Martin County Sheriff's units locate the suspect's vehicle.
Driver! Take 2 steps to your right!
This is body camera video of his arrest.
The witness from the incident at Trump International was flown to the scene by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, and he was able to make a positive ID.
At 2:24 p.m., less than an hour after the incident, the Trump campaign sends out a statement saying Trump is safe following gunshots in his vicinity. In the bushes at the golf club, authorities recovered an SKS-style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks equipped with ceramic tiles for a makeshift bulletproof vest, and a GoPro. Do you have any detail on where he might have gotten the gun?
That's part of the investigation as well. Again, that's going to be a little bit challenged until we're able to determine the serial number on that gun. So we're hopeful to be able to do that.
By 10 a.m. this morning, Ryan Ruth was in court in West Palm Beach, Florida, facing charges of possession of a firearm while a convicted felon, and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. In court, Ruth told the judge he had 0 funds and was making $3,000 before his arrest. He said he had no assets beyond his 2 trucks in Hawaii. The judge appointed a public defender. Since the alleged attempt on Trump's life, a complicated picture has emerged of Ryan Ruth, a 58-year-old small business owner from Hawaii. CNN has learned that Ruth supported Trump in 2016, but later dismissed him as a buffoon and a fool. Ruth also mentioned Trump in his self-published book titled Ukraine's Unwinnable War. Ruth traveled to Ukraine in 2022 and encouraged others, including Afghan fighters, to sign up to fight. He did an interview with AFP news agency from Kyiv in April that year.
Putin is a terrorist, and he needs to be ended, so we need everybody from around the globe to stop what they're doing and come here now.
Court documents also detail past run-ins with the law, including felony convictions in North Carolina. In 2002, he pleaded guilty to felony possession of a weapon of mass destruction and carrying a concealed weapon. That same year, he barricaded himself inside a business after he was pulled over by police. Other charges over the years included possession of stolen goods, driving without a registration, and failing to pay his taxes on time. Given his history, law enforcement is grateful they saw him.
The suspect didn't even get close to getting a round off.
And Anderson, tonight authorities still aren't sure if this suspect acted alone. They say all indications are that he did, but they're just not 100% sure yet. They also don't know where he got this weapon or how long he was in the state of Florida before this happened. But we did get some new information today. We now know that they interviewed 7 civilian witnesses on the scene and that they've collected DNA from the suspect's items that were recovered at the scene. That would include those 2 backpacks, the SKS rifle, and the GoPro. And those DNA samples have been sent to Quantico to be analyzed. So Anderson, this is going to be, it's going to take quite some time to figure all of this out.
Randy Kay, thanks so much. Joining us now, CNN.